Well, howdy, folks, and gather around for another deep dive. Today, we're fixing to chew on something that, well, it can really shake things up right here in our neck of the woods, Overton County, and beyond. Y'all sent in a whole heap of articles talking about these newfangled indoor surfing waves and how they're just springing up all over creation. Now, I know it's likely going through your mind. Surfing. Near Livingston. We ain't got no ocean around here. And you'd be spot on. Of course you would. But this ain't your regular trip down to the Caney Fork we're discussing. Nope. These are what they're calling surf parks. And the folks behind them, they're making a case that they could be the next big thing. Kind of like, like when folks couldn't get enough of hitting the ski slopes or the golf course way back. They're saying these wave machines could make surfing something for just about anybody, not just them lucky souls living right by the coast. So we're going to dive deep into what makes these places tick, why there's so much buzz, and, well, what it could mean for us right here in Tennessee.
That's exactly right. We've been poring over the development of this whole surf part idea, and it's really remarkable to see the parallels they're drawing with, well-established leisure industries like golf and skiing. The fundamental principle, really, it's all about broadening access. You're taking a sport that's traditionally limited by geography, right? The ocean. And you're opening it up to a much, much wider audience. So we'll be looking at how this expanded access is kind of viewed as a driver for growth and maybe new opportunities. Pretty similar, they say, to how the invention of the ski lift just completely transformed skiing, made it accessible.
Right. Now, these articles, they point out that the number of these here surf parks has practically doubled.
Yeah.
In just the last year alone.
Yeah, doubled. It's quite a jump.
Seems like folks are really taking notice, huh? They talk a good bit about how surfing has always held this sort of dreamy quality, like wishing for a fast car or something. It looks like a heap of fun, don't it? Getting some sun, moving around in the water. But for us landlocked folks, it always felt out of reach, didn't it?
Precisely. Yeah, the source materials really emphasize that surf parks essentially eliminate the usual obstacles, the need for an ocean with good, consistent waves, dealing with crowded beaches, the weather, all that unpredictability of nature. This engineered wave technology, it provides a dependable environment, an accessible one, for individuals in, as some of the documents put it, landlocked and wave-starved regions.
That's us.
That's you folks. And it's being directly compared to how ski lifts enabled people who'd maybe never even thought about it to experience mountain skiing. What's really fascinating here is this idea of, controlled recreation. You're not subject to the whims of nature, the bad weather, the flat spell.
Yeah, the waves are going to be there.
Exactly. Consistency.
And hold on a minute now, because this ain't just about learning to ride a little wave.
No.
These developers, they're talking about building entire communities centered around these parks. Kind of like those fancy golf resorts over towards Crossville,
Oh, yes, the resort model.
They're suggesting these surf parks could be the main draw, the anchor, they call it, for all sorts of things: houses, restaurants, little shops, even places for folks to stay the night. Just picture that now. Little taste of the California coast right here. Well, okay, maybe not right here by the Courthouse Square in Livingston, but you get the idea.
They do. The documents specifically highlight what they call surf park anchored real estate development. And they draw that direct parallel to how golf courses have historically influenced property values around them.
Oh, right. Like Fairfield Glade, maybe?
Exactly. Just as properties near a good golf course often command higher prices, the expectation is that development surrounding these surf parks will see a similar kind of uplift in value. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, like regional development, it suggests a whole new model maybe for attracting investment and growth. Plus, they're looking at multiple income streams, not just selling waves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, much like a golf course, with its memberships, lessons, the pro shop.
Yeah.
They're planning on incorporating coaching, retail outlets, food and drink services, even lodging right there within these surf park projects.
Makes sense. Got to pay the bills somehow.
Keeps it sustainable.
Now, there's one company mentioned in these articles. This outfit calling themselves Surf Lakes.
Surf Lakes, yeah. They're a big player.
And they're thinking on a grand scale. Their motto kind of seems to be, go big or go home with these wave parks.
Scale is key for them.
They reckon if you build them big enough, you can have space for all sorts of extra stuff, more amenities. You can handle more folks looking to catch a wave.
Higher capacity.
Right. And maybe even make it more affordable in the long run. Spread the cost out.
That's the theory, yeah. Economies of scale.
And they've even got this clever notion. having certain parts of the park just for the folks who actually live nearby, kind of like a private club deal,
The residents, yeah.
and then other parts open to everybody, the general public. That way, the local residents kind of have a vested interest, keeping the place looking good and running strong.
Right. This mixed public-private concept, as they call it, it presents a really interesting approach, especially for funding and long-term sustainability. The underlying strategy there is by selling those residential lots within the development,
Yeah.
they can help offset the substantial initial cost of building the surf park itself. Those things aren't cheap.
I bet not.
And meanwhile, having that built-in community of residents, it ensures a more consistent stream of visitors and revenue, helps the park's ongoing viability. It's really a strategy designed to create a self-sustaining kind of community hub with the surfing experience right at its core. What's fascinating, I think, is this blend of recreation and residential living all tied together.
Yeah, it is something else. Now, for those of you out there maybe scratching your heads thinking this all sounds a bit, I don't know, pie in the sky.
A little futuristic, maybe?
Yeah, well, they're pointing back to how skiing and golf really took off way back when. Skiing, wasn't always something just anybody could up and do, but then they came up with those chairlifts.
Game changer.
Total game changer. And all of a sudden, folks from everywhere wanted to head for the mountains. Same kind of thing with golf, right?
Yeah.
Used to be for a select few, maybe.
Much more exclusive historically.
But as it got more accessible, more courses were built. It just exploded in popularity. Everybody was playing. So these folks, they're betting that these wave parks, they're going to do the very same thing for surfing, make it mainstream.
Yeah, the source material makes a strong case there that surfing is viewed as both a desirable lifestyle.
The beach vibe.
Right, and also something to aspire to, something cool, the lifestyle aspect. That includes the appeal of just being in the water, getting some exercise, enjoying the outdoors, things we appreciate around here too.
Sure do.
And the aspirational part, that comes from the fact that it was traditionally pretty inaccessible for most people, unless you lived right there. So by overcoming that barrier, that access barrier, surf parks aim to tap into this kind of widespread, maybe latent desire and transform surfing from a, relatively niche activity into something much more mainstream. And if you connect that to just broader leisure trends, it suggests a growing demand for these kind of experiential activities, things that offer both physical and social benefits.
Right. People want to do stuff, not just watch.
Exactly. Active recreation.
So, okay. What could all this mean for us? Right here in Overton County. Well, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week. But further down the line, who's to say? Could we? Could we actually see one of these wave parks pop up somewhere around Dale Hollow Lake? Maybe.
It's a possibility being discussed in these kinds of developments globally. Proximity to existing attractions, water resources.
Just imagine bringing that kind of excitement and those kinds of jobs, mind you, right here to our doorstep, to Livingston or Byrdstown or somewhere nearby. These articles, they talk about how these parks can kind of revitalize whole regions, bringing in visitors, new businesses, maybe even folks looking to move here. It sure sounds like something worth keeping a close eye on, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And, for us folks right here in Overton County, folks who are passionate about staying active, getting outdoors, whether it's, hiking around Standing Stone State Park or getting the boat out on Dale Hollow, fishing the Obey River.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Think about the possibility of adding surfing to that list.
Surfing on Dale Hollow. No, near Dale Hollow.
Near Dale Hollow, right. It'd be another fantastic way to get exercise, have fun in the water. Right here. Without that long haul down to the coast. It really raises an important question, I think, about diversifying our local recreational offerings. What else could we offer?
That's right. Yeah, just picture the young folks, kids around Byrdstown, maybe Alpine, getting the chance to actually learn to surf.
Use skill.
It could open up a whole new world of opportunities for them, maybe even inspire the next big surfing champion coming right out of Tennessee. Who knows?
You never know.
What's fascinating there is just the potential for our local kids to discover a sport they probably never, ever would have had access to otherwise.
And the potential for local economic growth. That's pretty significant, too. Can't ignore that.
Yeah.
These developments, if they happen, could generate new jobs, definitely attract tourists to our area.
Lord knows we love our tourists.
And provide a boost to the local economy, new opportunities for businesses, for residents. Right here in Overton County, if we connect that to the bigger picture, it's really about leveraging these new recreational trends to, strengthen our community, make it even better.
Well said. So there you have it, folks, a deep dive into the pretty exciting possibilities of these surf parks and how they might just be the next big wave, pardon the pun, in both recreation and real estate.
Had to be done.
It certainly gives you something to mull over, don't it? Thinking about bringing a little slice of the ocean right here to our little corner of Tennessee. It really makes you wonder what other kind of surprising ideas might just become part of our everyday lives right here.
Yeah, the fundamental idea at play here, I think, is the power of innovation. How it can overcome traditional limits, create entirely new possibilities. By making surfing accessible to way more people, the surf park industry, it has the potential not only to grow the sport itself, but also to stimulate economic development, foster community building, and do it in really unexpected places, maybe even influencing areas around Cordell Hull Lake someday, or near the big South Fork National River and Recreation area. The potential spreads out.
Could be. Could be. Well, listen up good, y'all. You folks down in Wilder, over in Jamestown, out towards Pickett State Park, and everywhere in between. Pay attention now. We've taken a good look at this surf park concept today, and as folks who, love getting out and about right here in Overton County, we reckon this could be a real game changer for our community's fun and its future. We're talking to more opportunities for exercise, for getting outdoors, drawing in folks who love adventure just like us.
Yeah, like-minded people.
And maybe even putting our little slice of Tennessee on the map in a brand new way. So here's what we want you to do. If this idea of surfing waves near Dale Hollow gets your blood pumping like a good hike on the Cumberland Trail.
Get you excited.
Yeah. Then we need your help to make some noise about it. Head on over to the comments section right now. Tell us what you think about a surf park right here in our backyard. Would you give it a go? Would your kids? Do you see the potential for our community? Let's get a real conversation going down there. And while you're there, make sure you hit that like button, all right?
And subscribe so you don't miss out on our next deep dive into all sorts of interesting ideas. We're always digging up something new and interesting for you right here on the Deep Dive. Until next time, y'all take care now, keep on exploring, and who knows? Maybe we'll see you hanging 10 right here in Overton County someday. Wouldn't that be something?